Big win for prosecutors in the Alex Murdaugh trial. Why? The judge allowed almost all proof of previous financial crimes to be presented before the jury. That matters. Why? Because that's the prosecution's into proving Murdaugh's motive for why he would kill his own wife and son. Now, does that ruling mean that Murdaugh may have to take the stand in his own defense? His option, of course. Let's discuss. Criminal trial attorney Sara Azari, attorney Eric Bland, and criminal defense attorney Mark Geragos. Big Brother Bland was correct. He said, I think the prosecutor's going to let in all of this, and that seems to be exactly what happened. Impact on the trial, in your opinion, Counselor Bland?
Yes, Chris, good evening, and good evening to Mark and Sarah. Yes, the judge today, it was like, Chris, when we were little kids in the Little League, when you're up 10 runs, the mercy rule, it's over. That's what it was for the defense today. They had a bad day today, Chris. They went up against Mark Tinsley, an attorney who's known as the Hitman. He's Luka Brodsky with the sarcasm of Lindsey Graham. This judge let in the financial crimes, not just for motive, but to show malice. And it's a real problem for the defense. They're not going to do what Sara posited last week when she said that they'll stipulate to these crimes. The government's not going to let them do that. And Dick Harpootlian is not going to stipulate to 999 years of crimes before this jury. He's going to fight these charges as they come in. Better. I'm not going to collect on the dinner on Sara. I'll take her to dinner when I see her, but sometimes when you have these national pundits or these national defense attorneys that come in, they haven't been to South Carolina. It would be like me opining on California judges. Sometimes you have to have boots on the ground, and we were pretty confident that this judge was going to do what he did.
Well, first of all, the only thing I'll push back on before I go to Sara is you called Luka Brodsky. You turned an Italian guy into a Jewish guy, which I'll take because I hate having the Italians maligned. But other than that, Sara, let's pick up on, well, what this means. Okay, so Bland was right. The judge is letting it all in. But what is the pushback for the defense on the notion of this guy is a dirty, stealing, thieving, desperate guy? Look at all these different people that he did dirty and how bad he is. What is still the defense opportunity to say, yeah, but what does that matter here in terms of killing his own wife and son?
Right. I think he's going to have to take the stand, and not just for that reason, Chris, but because there are two reasons we put our clients up on the stand to testify. One is to humanize and one is to explain. He does have to explain a few things to this jury. The dilemma here and why the admission of all of this evidence matters to the defense and really makes that decision harder is because in South Carolina, a breach of trust of over $2,000, pretty draconian, is a strike. Now imagine, this guy has a litany of those, right? So by taking the stand, he waives his fifth as to anything that's coming in, and there is this fear from on the defense side that, look, you know, he could third strike out, which again, under South Carolina law, subjects him to life without parole, what we call LWOP. So the defense has to decide, do we put him up and, you know, have him testify and risk an LWOP on the fraud side, which is probably better for his legacy, or do we not put him up and risk going down on murder, in which case he'll also get LWOP? I mean, to me, I think the choice is obvious, is that he needs to testify.
What do you think, Mark?
I'm still trying to figure out why Eric thinks he was predicting something that was unforeseen. I think I said before this, most judges are ex-prosecutors. Most judges, whether they like it or not, unconsciously carry the water for the prosecution, and especially when they see the defense winning. This was not unexpected. In fact, I think it was completely unexpected, and what I would say is be careful what you wish for. I gave the hypothetical today to a very good friend of mine, Drew Pinsky. Drew is an addiction specialist, and I showed him the tape of the testimony that was outside of the jury's presence of Murdaugh's friend, who talked about the confession about the stealing of the money. And I asked him, Well, you do tell me something, Drew. You've dealt with opioid addiction for over 30 years. You're probably the premier guy when it comes to knowing this area, this niche. Is there any world where somebody who is an opioid addict is, when they are confronted with a theft, is then going to go out and commit this heinous crime? And his immediate gut reaction was next to impossible.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.